What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today, for the first time on our channel, we got a reaction to Billy Squier. His album, Don't Say No, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Trucker Kev. Thank you, Trucker Kev. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. You guys support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below. Patron link on the end screen. If you watched our videos, you know the drill. We put them up every single day. It takes a lot of man hours to do that, so we appreciate all the patrons. All right, Billy Squier. I know the name. He's born in 1971, so I don't know this album. I know a couple of his things, but not much. He never was really a big star by the time I was into music. But Trucker Kev has a little background on him. I got a little background on the album, so let's get after it. Trucker Kev says, straightforward, good old rock and roll. He released the tail of the tape a few years prior, but kind of went unnoticed for the most part. It all changed with this hard-rocking tour de force of an album, fueled by the very catchy, for its time, riff-rocking, crunchy, heavy The Stroke. It would launch him into FM stratosphere, backed with a very tight band, amazing production. This album is still a fan favorite to this day, blasting right out of the starting gate with the dark, awesome riffs, great vocals. It would just continue on through the whole album. The awesome My Kind of Lover to the underrated 2 Days Gone. The amazing Lonely Is the Night. The killer drumming of Bobby in the beginning of What Do You Want From Me? The following album, Emotions and Motions, is one of those kind of deals where, just like with the Cars and many other bands, back-to-back greatness for me. I can still listen to both of these one at a time or back-to-back. Of course, everybody knows about the legendary Rock Me Tonight horrible video choice that basically sunk his career for many years. He has been on a comeback for many years, and he has regained a fan base, not as huge as before, but a very steady one. Come back to his stuff and realize just how kick-ass his stuff is, how much it still holds up as just great, straightforward rock and roll. More from Kev at the end. I'll give you his final thoughts, but I won't give it away right now. The info I found, just in case you don't know anything about Billy, he's an American rock musician and singer who had a string of arena rock and crossover hits in the early 1980s. His best-known singles include the aforementioned The Stroke, Lonely As the Night, My Kind of Lover, In the Dark, Rock Me Tonight, Everybody Wants You, Emotions in Motion, Love Is the Hero, Don't Say You Love Me, and The Big Beat. Squier's best-selling album is this one, Don't Say No. It's considered a landmark release within the arena rock genre, bridging the gap between power pop and hard rock. Described as a personification of the early 1980s music, Squier's most successful period ranges from 81 to 84, during which he had 5 top 10 mainstream rock hits, 2 of which were number 1, 2 top 20 singles, and 3 consecutive platinum-selling albums, along with heavy MTV rotation and radio airplay. Even after falling out from the mainstream favor and chart success, which some say, as Kev mentioned, it's because of the 1984 video for Rock Me Tonight. I did go back and watch that video. I've seen it. I was a child of MTV. When I saw it in the day, I didn't think anything of it. There were a lot of bad videos, right? This should not derail a man's career at all. That's insane to me, but it is what it is. Squier's maintained his presence on rock radio and his music used in many films and video games. He stepped out of the music business after the 1993 release of Tell the Truth, but he's occasionally continued performing smaller tours and one-off performances. As I mentioned before, this is his second album, released in April of 1981, 5 in the US, and remained on the chart for over 2 years, 111 weeks, which is really amazing back then. Went to 4 in Canada. Certified gold for 500,000 sales in July of 81, and platinum 2 months later. Though multi-platinum awards were not certified prior to 1984, I did not know that, by the way, it belatedly received a triple platinum award in 1992, certifying sales of over 3 million copies. All tracks are written by Billy Squier. If you never watched the video before, the music will not be in the video, but it'll be at a Vimeo link below. So follow along with us. Let's kick this thing off with the first track, In the Dark. It was the second single, went to 35 in the US, 22 in Canada. The Village Voice magazine, which is very influential back in those days, ranked the song at number 6 on their list of the 20 best arena rock songs of all times. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Kev. In the Dark. I never heard that song. The song's fantastic, man. The riffs, as Kev had mentioned it. You know, Billy plays a lot of instruments. He plays rhythm guitar, percussion, piano, obviously the vocals, but Kerry Sheriff is the lead guitarist on here, so he was fantastic. Alan St. John on the keyboards, Bobby, of course, Shonard on the drums, and Mark Clark's on the bass, so we cover that because, you know, we don't want the musicians to be forgotten here, but the guitar riff and just Billy's vocals, man, I just love this sound, right? This is kind of my thing, man, especially growing up in the 80s. Just this, quote, arena rock stuff is fantastic to me. I know some people don't care for it, but for me, it's fantastic. You know, he just wants to hook up with the girl. The lyrics don't need a whole lot of breaking down. We ain't listened to this for the lyrics, boys and girls. Now we go to The Stroke, the lead single. His first song to chart, went to 17 in the US. 52 in the UK. Didn't have a lot of UK success with this album, at least. Also reached the top 10 in Canada and Australia. It was named the 59th best hard rock song of all time by VH1. According to Billy, it's about ego stroking that goes on in the music industry. Because a lot of people thought it was about something else, which I'll leave that to your imagination. At the very least, each line is a clever double entendre that can indeed be taken both ways. Since Squier was already a 12-year veteran recording artist when the song became his first hit, it's entirely reasonable that he was taking aim at the music industry. All right, The Stroke. I have actually never heard that song. I figured I had somewhere on the way. I've never heard that song. Obviously, it's fantastic. What I like with these first two songs is halfway through the song, I can sing it, even though I've never heard it right. It's so catchy. It's so well put together. Once again, I'm going to be a broken record, so to speak, on I'm sure the guitar work, the instrumentation. But Billy's voice, man, the charisma, the way he owns the song, I mean, it's different, man. He just understands. Is it wrong to say just on first listen that I like In the Dark like that much more than The Stroke? I know that's crazy from all the press that The Stroke gets, but I mean, they're both fantastic. All right, next up, we got My Kind of Lover. The third and final single went to 45 in the US. Squier said, actually, when I was writing that one, I was thinking about Tom Jones. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Tom Jones is not that big of an influence on me, although we certainly would see him on Ed Sullivan and stuff like that. I got the beginning of the song, and I don't know why. I had that melody, and I was thinking, God, if Tom Jones did this, it would be like, and then he was imitating Tom Jones's singing voice. You've got me running, baby. I had this image of him in my head thinking this would be a great song. All right, man. What a great background. All right, My Kind of Lover. I mean, basically, he just wants to hook up with this girl, and he's telling her how much he likes hooking up with her. The vocals were great. He's reminding me of somebody when he gets really into the high octaves of his voice, that high range a little bit. And I was like, who is it? It's Noddy Holder from Slade, of all things. That's who he kind of reminds me of. So if you're familiar with Slade, let me know if you think I'm off on those on the comments below. You can go ahead and blast me. But it's like, who does he sound like? But man, he's 3 for 3 here. Is every one of these songs going to want to be one of my favorites? I don't know. Now we got You Know What I Like. You Know What I Like. Once again, just I mean, to this girl who... There's a lot of sexual innuendos in this. It's 1981. It's what you expect. It's what you want out of your arena rock. The stars here are obviously Bobby on drums and Carrie on guitar. The drumming throughout, but at the start was especially fantastic, but it drove us throughout the song. And then Carrie's guitar work was next level. And I'm sure Billy and then the rhythm was in there a little bit, but man, Carrie's guitar work on this. It was a rocking vehicle, right? This is the one you do in concert where you let Carrie do his thing and you kind of step aside if you're Billy. So it's a good track. Next up, we have 2 Days, D-A-Z-E, Gone. Once again, Carrie's guitar work is fantastic and their Bobby's drumming just really well done. This is a song that I like, don't love, but that riff repeating, the longer it went, I could see if I repeated listen to this song, it would probably rise up right on the list to one of my favorites. But it's a good song. He's kind of just saying, look, man, like part of the song, he goes to hang out with one of his friends. 2 days gone. So a little play on words, right? 2 days are gone. I don't remember the last 2 days, but 2 days, he's too drunk, kind of, and just kind of out of it to remember everything, but he kind of gives you little memories throughout the song. So I thought it was pretty cool and pretty clever. Now we'll go to what we call in the old days, the B-side, the second half of the album. We got Lonely Is the Night. Became an AOR hit. That's album-oriented rock for you that don't know. 28 on Billboard's hot mainstream rock charts in 1981. Despite not seeing a proper single release or a music video, it's often considered one of his greatest, and I see that, but it's the second most streamed song on this album. He wrote the song about being alone in a room, perhaps a hotel room on a tour, and not knowing anyone in the town or anything to do. Lonely as a Night, for example, is nothing to do with the fact that I'm in a rock band, he said, but it does have to do with the fact that you can be by yourself in a room somewhere and not know what to do. Be scared to death of having to go out and find something. I think we've all been there at some point in our lives. All right, Lonely as a Night. Once again, the guitar work was fantastic. Just a great song, right? It's time to go out. It's time to party, man. But, sometimes Billy, maybe not in this song, the last song, 2 Days Gone, reminds me a little bit of Rod Stewart in certain aspects of his singing as well. Not all of it, just at certain glimpses, right? I mean, he is unique, but just wanted to throw that in there as well. But just a great rocking song. This is a great rocking album. I could see how Kev talks about on repeated listen. This is an album you just throw on and just vibe with it, right? I mean, the lyrics are fine, but it ain't about the lyrics. It's just about the music, and sometimes that's what you need. I don't always want to sit there and listen to deep lyrics. If you guys watch this channel, you know I love lyrics, but not always, man. Next up, we have What Do You Want From Me? All right. Kev pointed out at the beginning of this when I shared his opening thoughts about how good the drumming was from Bobby in the beginning of this. I could not agree more. The drumming was fantastic all the way through. Billy sounded great. He's just telling this person, you know who I am. He like ran down some of his characteristics. You know who I am, so what do you want from me? Like, you want me to be somebody I'm not. You already knew who I was, so why do you ask me to be something I'm not? So I think everybody can relate to that. But golly, man, that song just sticks in your head too. Billy does such a great job of orchestrating these fantastic like melodies inside of this harder rocking edge and this arena rock that just stick in your head. Next up, we have Nobody Knows, a song dedicated to John Lennon. He had just lost his life the year before. All right, Nobody Knows, totally different soundscape, totally different sound. I mean, Billy's up in that higher octave, as high as register I'm sure that he can go. So, I mean, in the lyricism, I don't really see a lot in there about winning, right? I mean, I can see like nobody kind of knows what this life is going to hold. But, you know, I thought that the arrangement was kind of honoring to him. It was more of a John Lennon arrangement once you know that. But it's definitely different than any other song on this album. But the lyricism was a little more refined, a little more mature, obviously, than some of the other songs. Although, I mean, I like the other songs a lot. But yeah, there definitely is a difference there. Got 2 songs left. We have I Need You. All right, I Need You. Really well done. Definitely had a different sound, too, than the front side of this album. I thought Billy was a little more refined there on his vocals. I mean, I like his vocals on the other, but and then that little don't really stuck in the head. Very good melody on there in that chorus. I need you. I just thought it was really, really well done. More of a loving song versus kind of a lustful song. So nice little change up there and a good follow up to Nobody Knows. All right, final song, title track. Don't Say No. Interesting production there on the title track, Don't Say No. It's got that slow fade in because at first I'm like, my headphones not played. It's that slow fade in and then about a minute 10 out, kind of fades all the way out and you think, what's going on? And then we kind of go back into the song. I thought it was really well done. Catchy. You know, he's just kind of talking, you know, I don't think there's a lot to the lyrics. I mean, he's just kind of talking about, at first I thought he might have been talking to, you know, a lady of the evening. But I think he's just talking to this girl who doesn't really want a serious relationship with him, but he just keeps getting drawn back to her. But I mean, I could be wrong on that, but a good way to finish this album off. I'll get to our favorite tracks. Kev says he doesn't have favorite tracks on this. He doesn't have it narrowed down. He likes it from start to finish. For me, honorable mention, What Do You Want From Me? I mean, I like these last 3 songs. So I want you to think, I think these last 3 songs is a good way to finish it and kind of change up. And none of those are going to make my faves. My faves are going to be Lonely as the Night, My Kind of Lover, The Stroke, and In the Dark. I don't even know which one of those is my favorite, but that A-side was fire. I mean, it was an overall great album. Kev says this album's a 9 for him. I think for me, this album's probably, I'll do this 2 different ways, right? Okay. So the objective part of me is going to tell you this album, I'm going to rate this album an 8.0. The subjective part of me is, I mean, from my own personal taste, I like this album more than an 8.0. But objectively, it's an 8.0. Great instrumentation. Kerry Sharef on the lead guitar. Alan St. John on the keyboards came more into play in the second half of the album. Bobby Chouinard on the drums was fantastic. Mark Clark's bass, you know, this kind of music, the bass is necessary to make up your rhythm section, but it's not, you know, it's not overpowering or anything. You know, it doesn't really stand out, but it's still necessary and good. And then, of course, Billy on everything he's playing and just his vocals. Billy's just great, man. I really enjoyed this. So let me know what you think of this. Is this his best album? Let me know your favorite songs below. Thanks again to Trucker Kev. Always appreciate him and the great stuff he brings to this channel. Until next time, guys, I will see you.